Welcome to another video here on the Giant Take Podcast YouTube channel. I'm Josh, and in this video, I don't know what I was going for there. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a few different things, Giants related, and then NFL Combine related, as that did in fact start technically today. Players are arriving, scouts are arriving. Joe Schoen arrived. Brian Daboll, I believe, was there as well. So just making sure the camera's all good. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit, but let's first start out. I think that's good. Let's first start out with Daniel Jones, because according to Jordan Raanan, the ESPN reporter for the New York Giants, Daniel Jones' fifth-year contract option likely will not be picked up. That's big news. Again, rumored, because it won't be official until May, what the Giants actually decide, and they have some things to think about. Obviously, the scout, the combine, this NFL scouting combine being one of them. And then they got pro days to go to. They have NFL draft picks to make. They have free agency to worry about. So there's a bunch of stuff that comes before Daniel Jones and his fifth-year option. But if this rumor turns out to be true by May, this is big news, because that means the Giants are saying, listen, Daniel, this is your time to shine. You got a season, the 2022 season. This is your time to do what you need to do. Prove it to us that you deserve a deal, and we'll give it to you if you do well by 2023. If you don't, well, we got to think about that, because then we can trade for a quarterback, we can make a free agent move, or we can get someone in the next NFL draft. That's something that the Giants are going to have to think about when making this big decision in May. Again, they have some time before that, but it is a big decision in May. In my opinion, I think this is the best option to let it happen, because Daniel Jones has had a few seasons in the NFL to do what he needs to do to get, the job done. He was picked very high in the draft, number 6, right? So he hasn't lived up to the 6th pick at all. I think if even he has a average to a little bit above average season next year, and the Giants decide to re-sign him, it shouldn't be that much. Because in the few years before his, 4th year in the NFL, he wasn't good. So the Giants shouldn't have to pay that much money in the 2023 offseason after Daniel Jones has a average to above par, right? Would that be above par or so? I don't even know. Above average season in 2022. I think that the right move is just to leave it, let it be. Do not give him the 5th-year option, right? I know it's not a ton of money, but especially in this negative salary cap the Giants have right now that Joe Schoen and his staff has to figure out, I think the best thing is just to leave the money aside, give Daniel Jones 1 year to prove it, and I think that's it. And if you move on, you got to move on. If you don't move on, then good. Daniel Jones is your future quarterback like he should have been the first time. But in my opinion, I think it's a good move to not pick up the option. So this is what Raanan said, that the starting quarterback would be guaranteeing $20 million for 2023. So I think they'll let him play next season. I don't think there's a doubt about that. There's been rumors maybe Mitch Trubisky comes because he was in Buffalo last year. The Giants signed a few Buffalo guys to future contracts. They brought in Buffalo Bills staff members, including our GM and head coach, Joe Schoen as the GM, Brian Daboll as the head coach. Okay, maybe we bring in Mitch Trubisky, the backup in Buffalo, bring him here to New York as he's a free agent. That's fine with me. I have no problem with him being behind Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones is really bad this upcoming season, Mitch Trubisky comes in, and I don't know how much better he'll be, but maybe Daboll coaches him up, makes him really good. Who knows? My opinion, though, is by May, I hope they do not pick up the 5th-year option on Daniel Jones. Now heading to the NFL Combine, I know the Giants did like a little Q&A with Joe Schoen. I got to watch that a little bit later. Did that with John Schmelk of the New York Giants media. I hope he gave some good answers. I watched a little bit of it already. Caller called in and was asking about what he looks for in scout and players and things of that nature. So I'm going to watch some of that later. If you want to, I'm about to go to the NFL Combine, and I want to go through each position and give you my players to watch in this NFL Combine starting on Thursday, March 3rd through Sunday. What is that, the 7th, I want to say, the 6th. And just give you my top guys to look out for in this combine to watch. If you want more in-depth analysis on the top QBs, top running backs, and top offensive tackles in this year's NFL draft, go to our YouTube channel, which you're watching the video on right now, and check out the videos under the video section. I think there's a playlist of it too, so go check that out. And I think the next maybe late this week or next week we're going to do the edge rushers, which should be super fun. So stay tuned for that. Let's start with quarterbacks. It seems like Matt Corral won't be throwing because he's recovering from an injury at the Senior Bowl, I want to say, or in another game. So I don't think Matt Corral will be throwing. So obviously Kenny Pickett's someone to look out for, the top prospect in this NFL draft. From Pittsburgh, the QB position. Malik Willis is a fun one. Showed off his absolutely beautiful arm at the Senior Bowl. I don't know if I phrase that absolutely beautiful. Throwing power. You know what I mean, okay? From Liberty. And that was like in the rain and like windy conditions. It wasn't good. And Malik Willis showed to all the NFL scouts there or whoever was there watching that he's got an arm. So someone to look out for in the combine. And then Desmond Ridder, honestly, from Cincinnati is someone to look for. Running backs. Breece Hall, Iowa State. Kenneth Walker from Michigan State. Breece Hall definitely for the 40-yard dash. See how fast he is. I want to know. Same thing with Isaiah Spiller because he's not the fastest, so I want to see if he runs like a really slow 40-yard dash time or if it's similar to other running backs in this draft class from Texas A&M. Spiller is. Wide receivers, Drake London. He's on the top of a few different people's lists. He's got really good hands from USC. And then Jamison Williams from Alabama. I would say another one is Chris Olave. He's been at the top of his game for a few years from Ohio State. I'm looking forward to seeing him in this NFL Combine. Moving on to tight ends, I don't know much about them, but I do know, I think it was this season in college football, the best guy stats-wise tight ends was Jalen Weidermeyer from Texas A&M, and then it goes to Trey McBride from Colorado State. Those are the two guys that I want to see. Offensive tackles, I think Evan Neal is going to wait for his pro day with Alabama to show off most of his stuff, so I don't think the Combine's a big thing for him. So then it goes to Charles Cross, the next guy on the list. I would say, and he's our OT1, I believe, from Mississippi State, top guy on my list to look for in this Combine, 3-cone drill, whatever he does. Ike Ekwonu's next up there from NC State, and then Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. Those guys, offensive linemen, check them out. Giants could draft them at 5 or 7 or in rounds past that, second, third, whatever. So look forward to those guys. Interior blockers, Tyler Lindebon. Tyler Linderbaum is on the top of many people's lists at that position. And then I would say, and he's from Iowa, so he's high up there. Going on to the defensive side of things, it starts with Aiden Hutchinson, right? Michigan. But I would say the guy to look out for a little bit more than him, who has been rumored in many mock drafts by, NFL experts and mock draft experts, whatever you want to call it. Kvon Thibodeaux from Oregon, the edge rusher. This guy is very, very good. Could go at 5, could go at 7, could go even earlier or later than these picks for the New York Giants, but definitely someone to look out for in this NFL draft scouting combine or the NFL scouting combine, whatever you want to call it. Thibodeaux is someone the Giants could very well pick, so I think you should keep an eye on him. This edge rusher, this edge defender class is so good. Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, Kvon Thibodeaux from Oregon, George Karlaftis from Purdue, David Ojabo from Michigan, and Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. If you want to take a minute to write those 5 guys' name down, you can, because you're going to probably want to look at all of them when watching the NFL Combine. Those guys will all, I'm sure step out and look good. I hope they will. And I'm excited to watching them. When it comes to defensive tackles, no one that, I haven't really looked at defensive tackles, so I don't want to skip that, but maybe Logan Hall from Houston, because I've seen some tape on him. And then linebackers, Devin Lloyd's a big one out of Utah. And then Christian Harris out of Alabama as well. Those two guys I've looked at, so take a look at them during the Combine. I know for quarterbacks, or cornerbacks, I think it was Derek Stingley Jr., I want to say, the cornerback from LSU, is also waiting for the pro day to show most of his stuff. So don't think that he will be doing too much in this Combine, if anything. So then I would say the next one up, maybe Gardner. I know, what is it, Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. I know he's a top guy for cornerbacks. And then Andrew Booth maybe from Clemson. those are the two guys I've written down, so something to note on. And then remember, again, Derek Stingley Jr., I believe, won't be doing so much at the Combine. Safeties, the number one guy, Kyle Hamilton, could very well be the number one guy in this draft from Notre Dame. If you want to know more about him, more analysis here on our YouTube channel. We did basically a draft profile and a film review on him, which was super fun to do and a great watch, so check that out. And those are the top guys at the positions in the NFL Combine to check out, as well as Daniel Jones' fifth-year option. Let me know in the comments below, who are your top guys that you want to watch here in this Combine, and should the Giants pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, drop a like on the video. Again, hit me in the comments with those answers, and we'll see you next time for another video, or maybe it'll be a clip from our next episode here on the Giant Take Podcast YouTube channel.